Hey there, Juliana here, and I feel excited to welcome you to the very first episode. This is a show where we will be diving into simplifying and mastering everything that impacts your ability to build the relationship you desire and the career path you deserve. I'm your host, Juliana Joy, and I'm so excited to have you here in this very first episode. In each episode, you will have this really nice conversational style, easygoing way to approach highly complex topics that range from being super practical about approaching things to super spiritual. And today, I would like to kick off with a highly spiritual topic. And this is about the coming Summer Solstice, which is happening as we speak. The reason why I'm doing that is because at the moment in my client community, there is so much relationship drama and tension going on. And I was asked if there's something going on with the energies. And yes, there is something going on. And we will unpack that in that podcast episode. Now, what we have is between the 21st and 23rd of June every year, we have the Summer Solstice happening. And this is an astronomical event where we have the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere. What is the fuss about that? If we look into the ancient traditions, our ancient tribes all around the world, very different cultures, have been working with the natural energies they had. They have been following the sun, they have been following the calendar, and they have been organizing their life around the seasons. And what we have now officially, we are marking the beginning of summer with the Summer Solstice. And if you look into, for example, the Scandinavian tradition, we have the midsummer, big celebration. If you look into the Celtic, the Wiccan tradition, we have Litha. And I'm sure if you look into the Incas, the Slavic traditions with the Kupala night, Ivan Kupala or Ivan Kupala, the Persian traditions, you will find in all cultures around the world people celebrating that time of the year. And this is for a good reason. Before we had the technology and the internet and the power supply, we were significantly more attuned with the energies around us. We were literally working with them. And our ancients, they knew that this is a time of the year where I have the maximum of access to energy. The sun is at its peak, at its strongest point. And now is the time to charge myself, my amulets, everything I do, my intentions for the next month. So this is really the most potent time of the year energetically. They knew it and they were able to feel it. Just the fact that, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, this was the longest day of the year. It was all of those events, both on the more practical and on the energetic level, they were coming together, everyone knew. And what happens today is we're living in a matrix world where we have our 9-to-5 jobs, we're traveling to work, we're being in traffic jam, and we're into that 24-hour cycle, Monday to Friday cycle. And we're so working on autopilot there that we do not feel what is actually happening. And what actually happens is impacting us the same way as it used to impact our ancestors 3,000 years ago. There is no big change. The change is that we are not feeling it and we're not conscious about it. And unless you're a woman who is really actively researching and educating yourself in those topics, chances are you just do what everyone else does. If you're in Scandinavia, maybe there is a midsummer, big celebrations, the big fire, and the people come there, have a beer and see the fire. But the point is not to have a beer and see the fire and have a chat. The point is actually to really be super conscious about what's going on. And I believe that in our modern world, we do not necessarily have to do and make the time for the traditions as our ancestors, but we can be very smart about what is happening and work with the energies. And I'll give you an example. In my client community at the moment, we have a few breakups, a few near breakups, a few really, really tough conversations. And why is that happening? You want to be looking back to October. What we know as Halloween and celebrate around the world with a pumpkin is actually another super important energetic point of the year that is both astronomical, astrological, and purely energetic in terms of traditions. But this is where November 1st, we are actually laying the seeds to whatever will happen in the course of the next 12 months. And this is something where, if you look into agriculture, there are a lot of approaches where you lay the seeds before the winter comes and then they just grow in the spring. And the idea of planting seeds happens there. It happens with the intentions that we set. As you listen to that, let's get into more implementation mode. I want you to go back and think of what was happening in my life end of October, beginning of November. What was the person I was with? Which challenges I had, which desires I had, which decisions I made, or maybe did not take those decisions. Go back and reflect on that, because whatever was happening there, this was under the surface over the winter, and you probably started seeing things changing and shifting a few months ago in the early spring. And depending on how you have been working with those seeds, and I'm not talking about agriculture, I'm talking about intentions, desires, wishes, maybe challenges that need to be changed or be improved. So the way you have been working with those seeds, you will start seeing now the direction they are going to go. And if you have been doing some preparational work, now you will start seeing results. Now you will start seeing a very clear path in order to how to make that possible, how to implement that, how to harvest a result, what is the exact steps I take. And really now over the next days in the middle of June is where we really start taking action and start really bringing all those seeds literally to life. And this is where you can use and work with the energies from the universe around our planet Earth, because they're supporting exactly those type of actions at the moment. And of course, we'll harvest the results in September and in October, which is at the end of the 12-month cycle. Now, how does that play with the drama that is happening at the moment in a lot of couples' lives and relationships? What I personally think, and this is just, I'm answering a question which I had from the community through this podcast episode. What I think is happening at the moment is relationships are put to test. They're tested on strength, on connection, and on maturity. Why is that? Because whatever you wanted to do back in October and November, and you started doing, this will continue in the same direction if you're ready and if your partner is ready. And if you're not ready, if you have residual fears or beliefs or so many other blocks in our minds and hearts, you will not be able to implement that. If you speak specifically about relationships, if, for example, you have been dating a person, just let's say around October, November, you made a wish to be in a relationship. So you went out dating. Somewhere about January, February, you met somebody online, you started dating, and you were dating back and forth. And after a few months, this is something where it either develops into something more serious or it just goes apart. This is the natural development of things. And we're about at that time at the moment. So what's happening is this relationship is being tested into, do you have the maturity and the willingness and the commitment to do the work in a relationship so that you go through the gate and then go into a more committed level to the next level in your relationship. And I will jump back again to what our ancients were doing on the summer solstice. So this was literally a flirting time. This was the time where the men and the women, they were going out to those, I will call them parties and just simplify it, but they were going to those parties, dancing, seeing each other, talking to each other, exchanging energies, and really tasting who could be a great mate. And from there, after the agricultural season was over, so after harvesting everything, then they would start really at the end of the cycle, beginning of the next cycle, really come together and start building families and so on. And of course, this is a very simplified projection of what actually happens and how we mate, but it's also something which is in our DNA. If you think of most diets, there is the paleo diet, and according to the paleo or to the Atkins diet, our DNA did not change in terms of our eating habits over dozens of thousands of years. So if you look back to only 3,000 to 5,000 years or 10,000 years, in terms of our DNA, nothing that much has changed. Yes, of course, our lifestyle is significantly different, but the way we mate and the way we choose a partner is still energy-based. And this is where things are actually very simple. So coming back to our current relationship drama, energy going on around the world, what is actually happening is those relationships are just being tested. Because if you pass the test, then over the solstice, you bond. You just bond and you start moving to the next level. And in addition to that, if we look into pure astrological events, we are having a full moon around the 20th of June. So it happens around the solstice, which gives an additional impact on everything. And depending on where is that positioned in your birth chart and all the aspects it makes for you, it may hit you in a different area of your life. For some of us, it is about relationships, and for others, it's in a different area. But it does work with us. And of course, there we have a little bit of tension with Mars and Venus, which Mars and Venus are men and women. But for me, those type of tensions are really meant to create a better connection. So they're not meant to bring people apart. They are meant to test and create a connection. And now, what if you don't have any relationship drama? What if you're maybe single? Or what if everything is amazing in your relationship? How can you use this energy at the moment towards creating what you desire? And for me, the main question is, what is it that we desire? Of course, we want to have a safe, steady relationship that feels romantic, where we feel supported and loved, and of course, where we can support and love our partners as well. And the question is, if you look into your current situation and what you want to have, what is it that you would like to experience next? So this is a great question to ask yourself now in the middle of June, and start setting intentions that you're going in the direction of what you want to have. And it could be literally, I would like to improve the relationship with my partner in terms of we should have a better emotional connection. I want him to share more with me, or I want to be able to be vulnerable without him judging me, for example. Or if you're single, you can say, you know what, I'm done being single. I'm done having those awful experiences in dating apps. I would like to have this so steady relationship that it's almost boring, but this is what I like. Amazing. Then really you want to start setting those intentions and use energetically the time around between the 20th, 23rd of June to create a little manifestation practice for yourself. And this could be you just write a letter to your future self. This could be you light some candles, you meditate, and you visualize this state. It could be you simply talk to a friend and share what is your desire. Because all of that is literally you're stamping your future. You know, speaking, thinking, writing is a matter of self-expression. And when this is done intentionally, at the right time, working with the energies, this becomes really, really potent conscious creation of your love life. And the other thing I want you to think of, following the matrix in our modern world, the summer is time for taking holiday. You know, the summer is time where We make a project to build a pool in our yard. We think of where should I go on holiday. We like spending quiet weekends in our cabin on the lake, right? This is what we like doing. All of that is amazing. But what I want you to not forget is where you want to be by end of the year. Because the summer will be over very quickly. We'll come to end of October where we'll harvest our results. And if you have been taking action, not just manifesting and meditating, but really taking practical action towards implementing the steps, learning the skills, working with your emotions, working with your fears, working with your mindset, so that you get the type of relationship you desire by end of the year. Around end of October, you will see the results. And think of Thanksgiving, think of Christmas, think of New Year, where those are really family days. And you want to be with a partner. It really doesn't feel nice to be in a situationship, to not know where you're staying with a man or be single at that time. And really now is the time. Yes, we can go on holiday. Yes, we can relax. Of course, we can build a pool. But if you're single, you want to be dating. If you are in a situationships, you want to think of how can I take a different approach to draw my person closer and really plan or build a future together. Because if you just keep doing whatever you have been doing so far, and if this was not conscious, you will end up pretty much in the same place where you were a year ago. And if this is not what you want to really start thinking about, this is what I want, and really develop this beautiful picture of what you want. And then think of, okay, what are my next steps? And having said all of that, I'm hanging out on Instagram. I would love to chat with you. And I try chatting with every woman possible through my DMs and Instagram. And I would like to know from you how all of that resonates with you. How do you feel about consciously working with the energies that are surrounding us? And how do you feel about taking charge of your love life? And not just your love life, all the areas of your life where you would like to have an improvement. How would you feel? I want you to let me know. You will find the link to my Instagram under that podcast. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. If everything you heard so far is something you like and enjoy, make sure you subscribe. I will feel excited to be speaking to you. Bye-bye for now.